Recording in progress.
What's up, guys? Welcome in, welcome in. What's up? What's up? Good to see you again. I got a lot I want to talk about today. The last one was so fun. Trying to get set up on a couple of platforms. Give me 1 second. How we doing? How we doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Just getting started here, talking about, there's a lot I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the Villain Challenge. I want to talk about more about creativity in the body. What I'm really excited about, tomorrow I am beginning a 30-day challenge for myself. 30-day body. Every about twice a year, I do this really monastic lock-in with my body, my spirituality. I do this really monastic lock-in 30-day protocol. What's up? What's up? Yeah, about twice a year, I do a really monastic 30-day protocol lock-in on behalf of my creativity, on behalf of my spirituality and my body. I just lock in. And I usually do it a couple times a year, definitely do it in January, definitely do it either August or September. But I'm doing it August 1st this year. August 1st through the 30th. I'm going to do it and document my process. So I want to talk about what that process is. So I start up on Saturday. And then, yeah, I need encouragement. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Excited to include some people in this. I usually do this kind of privately. I do it, I did it publicly about 2 or 3 years ago online. But when I did it for the first time, documenting that process made me go viral. And then I started teaching a course based on that. And it's now called the Villain Challenge. It's the thing that, at least online, that's what people know me for. The class is fire. It's, if I can say so myself, it's the thing I'm most proud of that I've created in terms of my online world. But what I want to focus on today is my commitments to this challenge and why I'm doing it. And I want to talk about locking in and being monastic on behalf of your creativity in general. So yeah, and if you're here, please give us a like. Let us know who you are in the chat. Every little bit helps. And I'm just going to go live on TikTok as well. Welcome in. You should be good out and all set up here in a second. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, and feel free to let us know, or let me know. I'm saying us, like there's 9 people here. Feel free to let me know what your creative bag is. Like, tell us what your area is. I hate this scar on my face. My skin has been looking so good, but I splattered hot oil from cooking all over my face. And it's actually a miracle. It went it's like somebody poured it on my face. I was cooking last night and it went like this. It felt like it was in my eye. I was like, oh, I'm blind. It went like this and it was so hot. And I was like, miraculous. I was like, the fact I was like, I swore I felt this in my eye. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm so protected, my dumb ass. But anyway, it looks like an acne scar, which I don't like because my skin, having fasted and been taking such good care of my body, which we're going to talk about today, it looks like this hormonal acne that's been taking me like years to get rid of, and it's not. It's a burn. But having splattered so much hot boiling oil on my face, I was frying fish last night. Look, I'm happy about this. Anyway, that's not the point. I'm just insecure. I might have to fix it in the editing process if I ever post this. But I know you guys love me regardless. If not, so be it. Um, yeah, what do I want to talk about? I'm trying to get on my, I got like 98 screens together. Got to make sure the chat is up for sure. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, got the chats going. Thank you for the likes. If you're either on either platform that you're on, likes help a lot. I'm a one-woman show on a mission. A lot to talk about today. Send an invite. Oh my gosh. Vixen is out here handling business on YouTube. Look, thank you. Gonna keep, yeah, just waiting for a few more people to lock into TikTok Live. And if you have some more questions, what are we talking about today? I'm starting a 30-day protocol. I've done over the last several months, I've done various short protocols. Last time we talked about stuff with my acupuncturist. That's some things that my acupuncturist has prescribed. Before that, we talked about a 3-day water fast that I did. Before that, I've spoken about a 7-day intuitive eating process that I did. And everything I talk about, I'm not a health expert. I'm not a wellness girly. I do talk about creativity. For those of you who are new, if you haven't heard my content, my name is Vanessa. I survey art, culture, world, religion, philosophy, mysticism, everything for wisdom about the creative process. And I argue aggressively, full time on the internet, that your body is a critical aspect of your creativity, because the body is a creative aspect, or is a critical aspect of your spirituality. And I am, if you can say famous, the claim to fame that I do have online is from something called the Villain Challenge. The Villain Challenge is what I now call it. It's like 75 hard, but for your creativity. It's a 30-day protocol that I lead people through. It's a 30-day protocol and challenge, plus a very rigorous, but very rewarding creativity course that takes you through the gauntlet. And it's all centered around two things: embodiment in these rules, and creativity through the lens of mythology, shadow work through the lens of mythology, which I want to talk about all that today. But it started 3 years ago when I took myself, when I went public on the internet. This is how I went. One of the reasons that made me go viral. I documented my experience with my 30-day monastic protocol on behalf of my creativity. So a very rigorous 30-day lock-in, built on these ancient sources that I survey: ancient philosophy, ancient mysticism, the old desert fathers, the old mystic traditions, etc., the old even samurai, the old warrior traditions. I built a protocol for myself based on that for my creativity. I think there's a lot of stuff out there that's about locking in on behalf of your wellness, locking in on behalf of your body, your goals. But what about a lock-in for creativity? And I argue that creativity is the thing into which you need to be locking in. That creativity is the thing. That your body was designed above all other functions to be creative. And if you devote yourself, your movement, your meditation, not to meditate for the sake of meditation, not to exercise for the sake of fitness, but to exercise, meditate, etc., for the sake of your creativity, that is an input, a goal, an intention that your body values more than anything. We were designed to create. So I want to talk about the protocol because I'm starting it up again on the 1st. Having documented that process 3 years ago online is what put me on the map. And I'm going to do it again. So I want to get into it a little bit. Let me just check in. Thank you for the likes, guys. And keep them coming. I'm talking to TikTok people. Hey, I'm just checking in with all the different chats. Do I have an offering where people can get a 30-minute call? No, I have 90 minutes. If you send me a message on Instagram, I could probably work something out. Or if you email me, class at lifeisartschool.com, could make a special accommodation. But no, I don't typically do 30 minutes. I just need, if you can't tell already, I need time to speak. Hey, Julie. Okay, let's get cooking. And feel free to drop your questions or comments. It's a little easier for me to respond on YouTube, by the way. Any likes, any support you can give, it really helps. I'm on a mission. But yeah, so what is this protocol that I do? It's something that I did for myself, and then I turned it into a course, like I said, and it's called the Villain Challenge, 75 Hard for Creativity. The protocol is the following: a daily 45, it's like 75 Hard, like I said, but it's tailored to creativity. It's this interpretation of everything that I've learned from the ancient spiritual texts about what is critical about the body towards unlocking your creativity. Is a central theme in my classroom with my students, with my clients, et cetera, and all my content is going to war a little bit, going to battle against the belief that people have that they are broken, that the self-help industrial complex is a place where people they tend to fix themselves. They Google themselves to death. They think that they're broken. And at the same time as that, external hegemony of this self-help industrial complex is, raging against us. At the same time, if I ask my clients, my students, if I pose this question on my social media, there is this, if I ask them to reflect on, do you feel at once stuck in your creativity, stuck in your spirituality, and stuck in the body in some way? And what this challenge asks everybody to do, myself included, is to interrogate the relationship between those two things, to put all those two things on top of each other, to transpose them all on top of each other where I believe they all belong, that your creativity is a spiritual endeavor, that your spirituality is connected to your creativity, that your body is the linchpin between both, that the body facilitates effective creativity and effective spirituality. If you really want to lock in, you can talk about that in terms of the Trinity. The body. Anyway, that's a little dense, but let's keep going. Anyway, so what is the protocol that I take myself on? Daily 45-minute workout, daily 45 minutes on your creative work every single day. So for 30 days, you're creative every single day. And depending on how spicy I'm feeling, it's either 45 minutes of creative work, or it's 45 minutes of the creative work that I tend to avoid. What else? Daily journaling. So writing every single day. In the Villain Challenge, we do this when you take the course. We'll talk about the mythology in a second, but when you take the course, you journal every day in the voice of your inner villain. The villain in mythology being the character that antagonizes the hero's coming of age. The villain is the character that makes the hero come of age, that initiates the hero's matriculation through a rite of passage. So the objective of the Villain Challenge, as I discuss it, is not to become the villain. That's silly, that's immature, that's nonsense, and it's irresponsible, frankly. And it's easier than the work that I prescribe. I'll be honest with you. It's much easier. Oh yeah, become the villain. Become the main character. Seek vengeance. Be selfish for once. No, that's easier than the thing that mythology actually prompts us to do, which is to have an interrogation, to antagonize ourselves. Luke Skywalker is antagonized by Darth Vader. At no point should we become interested in becoming Darth Vader. But anyway, you journal every single day. What's the point of journaling? Knowing yourself, excavating yourself. Imagine an artist who wishes to become an artist of seriousness. Again, these rules are about embodying creativity at a high level, embodying creative maturity, getting out of your own way. How do you get out of your own way? You must know yourself. You have to have an intimate relationship with your inner landscape if you want to be an artist. I find more and more these days that people are, and I say this with love, it bothers me, but I don't judge you or anyone else because I'm included in it. But it's upsetting to survey the extent to which people do not think. Rather, people regurgitate things that they've seen online. You ask a friend for advice and they don't have anything to say. They don't sit, if you ask a good friend for advice, when's the last time someone just sat and thought about it for you? Like, hey man, let's figure this out. You want to be an artist and you're upset about you feel in your own way, you feel stuck, demoralized, you're stuck with procrastination, etc. Do I have any moderators in the, sorry guys, TikTok is getting a little out of hand. Sheena, can I make you a moderator? Are you already one? Oh, you're already one. Yeah. Block as your discernment decides. Thank you, darling. What was I saying? Interesting. Sorry, guys. I just, every so often something happens where, the one thing about me, if you're new here, if you're not new here, you know that I'm a spiritual girly. And every time I start talking about my work, darkness creeps in. Yeah, I froze for a second because it said that people were trying to sign into my account from Rio de Janeiro, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. But let's not get distracted. Okay. So someone tell me, where was I? It's interesting. Satan, get behind me. Right. Thank you. Don't become the villain. Anyway, let's get through the protocol before I get into the mythology. Like I said, to review, a 45-minute workout, 45 minutes on your creative work every single day, journaling every single day. This is a really tough one. Maintain an impeccable creative space. Clean your house every single day. Living in squalor and filth is bad for the spirit, and it's bad for your creativity. Your creativity, your creative space should be an altar. It should be the most sacred. You should be invited to your desk, to your paint studio every single day. Some of you, said another way, think that you are blocked, think that there's something wrong with you, and you're over left Googling yourself to death because you think you don't know how to write. But is your writing infrastructure on your computer organized, or is it a hot ass mess? Maintain an impeccable creative space for the duration of the 30 days. Villain purification. So for 30 days, I abstain from a vice. Cold turkey. I don't just abstain from the vice, I journal and reflect on what comes up for me in the abstinence, in the space. There is a lot written in the Hindu, in all philosophy, in all traditions, but as the Hindu tradition gets it exceptionally clear for me. I'm Roman Catholic, but the Hindu tradition is exceptionally clear that there is an incredible relationship between your vices and your creativity, that you will discover more about your creativity, its essence, what you need to be doing, your voice, etc. If you abstain, that your vice is your gift occluded. The vibe in on TikTok Live is interesting, isn't it, Sheena? Those of us using our discernment at home. Anyway, finally, daily meditation. In the Villain Challenge that I host, that I teach in the class, there's a class that I run about the Villain Challenge. It's a challenge we do together, and it starts in September. The waitlist opens on August 1st. I had to start it early this year. I think it's going to sell out really early. So if you want to get on the waitlist, you can check the link in any of one of my bios. When I teach it, I say 10 minutes minimum for meditation. I'm going to be doing an hour. So that's the protocol. Now, for me specifically, what is my workout? I walk about 15 to 20,000 steps a day, and I'll be alternating between Pilates and lifting every single day. So I'll probably get 2 workouts in. I've been doing this for a while. 45 minutes minimum on my creative work that I hit almost every single day. Anyway, journaling. I will be journaling. And I have journal prompts that I give in the Villain Challenge. They're rigorous. The journal prompts are about helping you find blocks and find deeper resonance, deeper potency in your work, and just thinking about your creativity, giving myself 30 days, a dedicated journal. I have many, but this is one of them. A dedicated journal where I'm staying focused, journaling every single day, discovering new corners of my creative voice, brainstorming, getting excited, documenting and exploring fears, etc. Anyway, what else am I going to be doing? Cleaning, that's pretty clear. Clean every single day. It really makes a difference, guys. Cleaning, I mean, to the extent, I mean, I've talked about this a lot in my classroom, on my virtual classroom. I haven't talked about this a lot online, a little bit, but there's an aspect of your creativity that is dependent on you tapping into and participating in your own dignity. Walking around as if you were not given one of the most profound gifts and graces and supernatural virtues of free will. We are the only creatures in the cosmos to have free will. Using that free will to live in filth is desecrating your entire life. You have free will. You can operate with exceptional dignity. You can do whatever you want. And that's God's gift to us. Cleaning your space. I'm not saying I live like this 24/7. I'm getting better at it because I teach this stuff. I coach people. I've almost 1,000 people have been through the Villain Challenge. I've coached another 100 or so people privately on this. I have thousands of clients over the last several years. But yeah, clean up. One of the other rules is abstaining from a vice, purification. What the old desert fathers, what the old Catholic theology calls it is active purgation. Active purgation, we explored in summer school, is you are actively participating with, you are actively consenting and co-creating with grace. Active purgation. You are lending every possible capacity to yourself. you're lending your faculties towards free will. You are strengthening your free will. There's this idea that, people think about discipline, but when they're trying to discipline themselves, they're still working against their free will. They're still fighting. Discipline. You're fighting against yourself. Free will is, man, no, I can do whatever I want. Active purgation, purification, abstaining from a vice is a manner of active purgation, where you can intentionally lend your faculties towards strengthening of your will, cooperating with grace. It's very powerful. You abstain from a vice. Somebody asked a question talk about vices and self-sabotage. It's an interesting question. I'll say this, and this is the nature of my teaching style. I'm kind of lecturing right now, but this is how I engage with my clients, with my students, and in this classroom. This is how I engage with myself. Yes, cooperating with grace. YouTube didn't like that. TikTok did. You are cooperating with grace when you actively abstain from something that hurts you. You are cooperating with grace. Everyone's like, man, I could use some grace right now. Go get it yourself. You have that much dignity in the cosmos. You can actualize a lot. There's a lot of truisms out there on the internet. Like, yeah, you're co-creators with the universe. Okay, you say that, but in which ways do you apply that? Did you really believe that? Co-creation. I am a vessel. Okay, yes, you've repeated the truism to yourself. Fantastic. Do you believe it? Or are you just hoping that it's true? Did you see that quote on the internet? Did you read it in a book? I do these rules, this protocol, because really internalizing this stuff is difficult. But if you force yourself into a protocol at the level of the body being the most sophisticated technology that you have available to yourself in terms of tapping into your supernatural nature. But anyway, somebody asked a very good question. I want to address it, Vixen. I'm going to address it aggressively. That's my nature. I don't judge you or anyone else, but this is how I talk to people, my clients. Can you talk about vices and self-sabotage? And my question would be, I'm going to, it's a huge aspect of my work. But the first thing I want to say, can you talk about vices and self-sabotage? And my question to you is, do I really need to? Do I really need to? You know what I mean? When I say that, do I really need to expand? Do you not know deep in your bones, all of us, it's not just for Vixen, this is a very good question and I'm happy to engage with it. Do I really need to explain at all the relationship between self-sabotage and a vice? Or do you deeply know in your bones that your vice is self-sabotaging and that you self-sabotage with vices, that you know that that's the function, you know that's why you're doing it? And this is something, and my point is not to be harsh, because not at all. I appreciate your question. It's a good question, but I want people to understand what I'm on as a creativity consultant, teacher, whatever you, coach, friend, whatever you want to call me, comrade, whatever you want to call me, disciple, is that your creativity does not need more than your creativity needs to read another book about the relationship between a vice and self-sabotage. Your creativity needs you to develop a process of listening to the wisdom that you already have within yourself. That your creativity needs you to realize your dignity, your self-esteem, your dignity, your autonomy, and the unconditional love that you have from God. And that needs you to follow your own voice, make your own mistakes. You don't need to outsource it anymore. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm happy to talk about it. Deep down, you already know. So if you deep down already know the relationship between a vice and a self-sabotage, if you deep down, you already know that answer, that means that you already deep down know what you need to be doing next in your creativity. You know what sentence to write. You know that you can do it. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, to actually address the question, because again, it's a good one. What's the relationship between a vice and self-sabotage? I would more sooner be interested, frankly, in the question, what's the relationship between a vice and creativity? That's the question. Who gives a shit about self-sabotage? The answer is that that we, when we self-sabotage, we're in some sort of cooperation with evil. That's my thesis. Why on earth would I use my free will to dampen any aspect of the Big Bang that God creates in me? Why would I go out of my way to stop that? My goodness. My God. May God forgive me. But what the question is, the more interesting question for me is, what's the relationship between vice and creativity? There is a constellation, a cascade of, and thank you for the likes, guys. Keep them coming. It helps me a great deal. I am at war with this, not at war, but getting discovered in the algorithm is not easy, as you all know. That the relationship between, there is this constellation of experiences, sensations in the body, emotions that are important for your development, that are important for your actualizing, for your creative message, for your voice, for your purpose. You have a purpose. You have one. Man. You have a purpose. Can you guys see me on YouTube? Or can you guys in the chat? Are you on YouTube in the chat? You have a purpose in your life, and it's the result of your life experiences. Your life, the name of my platform is Life is Art. Your life has been a curriculum for the art that you need to make. And so there's these specific sensations, stories, experiences that you need to be writing about, painting about, feeling deeply, getting to the bottom of, mastering, etc. You need to be doing that. But it's difficult. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Anyone who was waiting to get started in their art because they're waiting to feel confident and waiting for it to be easy because someone on the internet made you think that it's supposed to be easy? Anyone waiting for that? Waiting to feel confident. How do you get started? How do you feel confident when you get started? Man, you're not supposed to be confident. Who said that? Where in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Yoga Sutras, in the Tao Te Ching, in the Upanishad, in the parable of the sower, does it say you must be confident before you start doing God's work? Where does it say that? You know what I mean? Your vice, if you abstain from your vice, it's not just about abstinence. It's not just about going sugar-free. It's really frustrating to me about the wellness culture. Abstain. We don't just abstain for the sake of abstinence. We don't just abstain for the sake of wellness. The purpose of being alive is to create. That's the purpose of your life, is to create. That is the realization of your dignity. God is the creator in every single tradition. What's the fifth word of the Bible? I always say this. What's the fifth word of the Bible? In the beginning, God. Googled his attachment style. No, that's you. In the beginning, God created. We were created in God's image. In every tradition, we were created in God's image, not just the one that I blocked into. I'm Catholic. In the beginning, God created. And here you are, creative. Oh, wait a second. You're a creature. You're a creature. The only creature in the cosmos that can create. If you abstain from a vice with the intention of learning more about your creative self, you're gonna be blown away by what you can discover. There was a relationship between the most important aspect of your creativity and your vice. I promise you that. We were made to multiply. That's the same thing. Creativity, fertility, it's the same thing. I multiply myself when I create. We combine with each other. We synthesize with one another. It's the same thing. The capacity for two human beings to create life, to multiply, as you say, that's still creation. Someone on TikTok was like, actually, we're made to multiply. That's creation. I sound pissed off. That's interesting. Anyway. Oh, that's interesting. You don't need to mute for that question. I was muted for asking about Catholicism and sensuality. Yes, I speak with conviction. There's this quote from Joan of Arc, I'm not angry, God is. And forgive me, it does upset me the extent to which we are asleep. Forgive me if I feel the urgency around that. Forgive me. Hello, Dr. Progetti. Anyway, so this is the protocol. Did I make my point about did I make my point about vices? Can I talk more about the connection with vices? I'd like to move on, to be honest. Do you have a specific question? I'm happy to, if you have a specific question, I'm happy to, but I have other things I want to talk about. Yeah. So I'm going to be tracking my experience for the month of August. Please follow along. Please also get onto my more daily socials, TikTok, Instagram. I prefer Instagram. And encourage me. I'm doing a much harder version of this than I normally do. But yeah, and if you're interested in taking the course, please, for all the links in my bio, you'll see a sign up for a wait list. Again, the course that I teach about this stuff, everything that I'm talking about vices, creativity, creative maturity, and this huge build out about mythology and what are the lessons for creativity, for creative people within mythology. That course is beyond thrilling. No sweat, Lauren. I'm just, if you've taken the course, drop a review in the chat, good or bad. The honesty matters, but drop a review. What I was saying about vices is that your vices reveal details about your creativity. Abstaining from a vice, you will unlock and receive what you're meant to receive from your creativity. There's a deeper aspect of your creativity. The purpose of my work, the purpose of my courses, my online school, my classroom, whatever, my content, the stuff that you can get for free, the stuff you can pay for, whatever it is. I want artists to have deeper tools to stay engaged in art for a lifetime. I want you to have more ancient, durable tools beyond the world of Instagram, self-help truism, beyond quotables about from the New York Times best-selling of 48 laws of attracting an anxiously attached, healed boss bitch. Beyond that level of wisdom, I want you to have the ancient texts, the ancient sources, the most durable wisdom our species has agreed upon. That's what I want you to have, because that's the shit that works for me. Yeah, abstain from advice. How can we stop expecting art to make us feel good, to prove our worth? Your worth is not on the table. You are unconditionally loved by God. Unconditionally. You mistake worth within the marketplace, within capitalism, for worth that the worth of yourself. One is a spiritual question. You're asking your job, your vocation, your talents, even in the result of which to fulfill a spiritual need. To feel your own worth, that's a spiritual consideration. The spiritual consideration should at one point get you to be like, damn, I'm already perfectly whole as I am. Sinner, flawed, mistaked, abandoned, mentally ill, mean to people sometimes. I'm whole. I have unconditional worth and value. That unconditional worth and value allows me to is part of the mechanism that creates talent, my art. And then I do my art. Now, you're the first part of the question. How can I stop expecting my art to make us feel good? Because you need to. This is what my course is about. It's a course that gets you through your creative coming of age. It's a rite of passage that every soul goes through, where they use everything. They relate to everything in life about validating themselves through the lens of validating themselves. How can I use my talent, this relationship, this person, this job, this city, to validate, substantiate that I am here, that I belong, that I matter? And then the boy, the young aspirant Jedi, whatever, Dorothy on the on the Yellow Brick Road, matriculates through an adventure in the mythological landscape that gets them to grow into someone who no longer relates to the world about what can you do for me, but what can I do for the world? So the question is, how can we stop expecting art to make us feel good? It's not supposed to make you feel good. You need to, as an artist, become concerned with making someone else feel good. I always say this, but who has ever helped you in this world except for another person? The times when you were really without tools, defenses, without ideas, who helped you? Someone else. And we need to grow and we need to shift. We need to become more conscious of what it feels like when our orientation towards ourself has become futile. Man, I keep worrying about life, about what's happening to me. I keep trying to think about myself. And because of that, I'm losing relationships and I'm worrying and I'm getting stressed and I'm getting anxious and I'm not making progress and I'm getting stuck in a corner like a Roomba because I'm thinking about myself. Well, maybe it's not about any moral judgment about if you think about yourself, but maybe there's something more natural than that, primordial, just like the primary orientation of a bird is to fly. Maybe the primary orientation of a human being is to create for other people. That's how I'd answer that question. Could you give an example of what a journal entry sounds like written from your villain? The villain is the character. It's hard for me to do that without giving the whole lecture. I do have a PDF, or if you don't want to take the full challenge, the 30-day course, or you want to do it in a self-paced way, you can take the PDF version where I literally sell the journal prompts. There's more than 100, and they're very meticulously authored. And I explain the whole thing. But in general, what you're trying to create within yourself is a dialogue between the version of you that is afraid and the version of you that is unafraid. This is not it's not the version of you who is afraid versus the version of you who compensates for that same fear. It's the version of you that is afraid versus the version of you who is unafraid. Luke Skywalker is afraid of the dark side within himself. Darth Vader is not afraid of the dark side. Said another way, if you have a fear or deep shame about, as an artist, being mediocre, so who would your villain be in that case? Many of you are going to say is the person who's not mediocre, the person who's the best artist in the world. No. Or the person who locks in and gets better. No. That's not the antagonist to somebody who is afraid of mediocrity. Someone who is ashamed of their mediocrity, their villain is someone who's mediocre. There's some aspect of you that you are ashamed of, that gets in your own way. You are stuck because you think that who you are, the artist that you are, needs to change. That there is not wisdom, something to gain, something to learn, something to embody, to storytell about within yourself, within your mediocrity, within whatever you're ashamed of, whatever you're afraid of showing people about yourself. You're afraid, embarrassed that your mother was a hoarder. You're afraid and embarrassed of speaking in a way that ruffles people's feathers. You're ashamed of that. You're afraid to let other people see that. So the villain and the villain challenge is the result of a couple weeks or a couple weeks worth of work, where we discover not only this deep fear, this deep block, this incredibly deep wedged in shame about your creativity, about who you are as an artist, and then you meet the antagonist within yourself to that fear and that shame. This is shadow work dressed up in the language of mythology, because that's kind of what mythology is. It's an encounter with your own soul's experience. The mythology, these mythological films, the Odyssey, Star Wars, Wizard of Oz, Matrix, etc. They are like living symbols. It's a symbols and archetypes with a plot moving in front of you. Let me know if you feel like that answers the question. Who has that? Nina. Yeah, so that's what the villain challenge is. That's what the protocol is. Yeah, in general, I feel like there's something going on right now with us, like the species, where embodiment, clearing up your vessel, being very clear, frankly, being really good at listening into your creativity is important. And the tools of trying to manifest your dream life, trying to manifest a career, a New York Times best-selling book, as a sellout course. Those tools are weak, and I think that we know that because people are for the most part still stuck. You can't law of attraction is not who the new age nonsense are weaker tools, and there's something that for me for me they're not wrong. They're just I feel like in addition to these new age concepts, which have their own validity and usefulness, we also cannot forget the sacred text, especially as our world becomes more commoditized, more artificial, as the water becomes more scarce. I believe firmly, and this is what's a through line of the people in my community, my clients, my students, whatever you want to say. They have exceptionally massive ideas inside of them, and they have nothing to show for themselves. And so, because they don't have a New York Times best-selling book, they don't know how to even show their face on TikTok, on making content without having a panic attack. They can't. They are terrified in their boots. They're shaking in their boots to put anything out. But then when I get in there and I learn about their work and I help massaging it and I help cheerlead it the way that I do, the ideas are. I promise you, are going to change the world. And I believe firmly that we need to strengthen our capacity to listen into the creative source that guides us, because I believe that creativity, again, is divine. And I believe there's warfare afoot. And I believe that listening to your creativity, to the divine source of intelligence, as opposed to the artificial intelligence that we're tempted with, I believe that's going to help us save the world. I firmly believe that. I believe that. Thank you, Power. Shameless plug. Any support you can lend would be great. It helps me a great deal. I would really like you to just take the villain challenge. I think you can tell that I give a lot. I'm not going to waste your money. The number one criticism I get about the Villain Challenge is that there's too much in 30 days. And that's the goal. That's the objective. To overload you with a type of support and encouragement that you've never experienced. That's my gift. Hey, what's up? What's up? If you have any questions about the Villain Challenge, it'd be a good time to drop them. I'll answer them for you, best of my ability. What's up, AJ? What's up, Lily? How you doing, hun? We got work to do, brother. So it's the course. So what comes in the course is 6 lectures with me. The lectures are long and full and transformative. I can say that with utter confidence. You get 2 office hours, like group calls with me. In addition to that, you get access to my Discord. There's a private Discord for anyone in the Villain Challenge. Plus, you get access to the whole larger Discord where my online community, online school lives. You get PDF, the journal prompts. You get a lot. So full price is $6.99. If you sign up on the wait list, you get it for $4.99. The people on the wait list get advanced access. I'm pretty sure. I feel like it's going to sell out just from the wait list, to be honest with you, because I'm starting a little bit earlier. I have more support and time now to publicize. But it's $4.99. You can pay in installments and stuff like that. If you've already taken the Villain Challenge and you want to repeat it, please, you should be getting an email about that. There's a different cost. So you have 48 hours to buy it at the $4.99. And then it goes up to $5.99. I think after the first 48 hours, the waitlist opens. Jacob asks, everyone listen to this. If you take, there's a lot of people who've taken the Villain Challenge in here now. So let me ask you this. Will the Villain Challenge make you fall in love with the process of art making again, and why? So if you have taken the class, you can answer honestly, and I'll read it aloud, and then I'll answer as well. Is there still a self-paced option? Yes, the link is in my bio. Self-paced option is journal prompts, lectures. You don't get any videos or anything like that from me. The videos are all live. With technology trying, so there's a question waiting for alum of the Villain Challenge. Does the Villain Challenge make you fall in love with the process of art? There's a whole 2 weeks in the Villain Challenge where we talk just about creative process. It's thrilling to me, if you ask me. AJ says 2 Villain Challenges in and he's also done summer school. Just go ahead and take the leap, y'all. Thank you, AJ. It will make you pick up all the pieces you scattered around. It will make you fall in love with yourself, if it makes sense. AJ's right. The objective of the Villain Challenge is around creativity, but like the issue that you guys see that you don't have is that it's an issue with realizing the unconditional love that you already have. Being a creative is about falling in love with yourself. About being in it's about sharing the love that you already have from the cosmos. And when I say, these sound like dense concepts, but when I say, I damn near promise you, give me 30 days, I'm not fucking kidding. What do you mean unconditional love? What do you mean I have everything that I need beyond a truism? What do you mean? I am immensely gifted, even though I don't have an Oscar yet. I haven't figured out how to go viral, even though no one at all in my history of my life has validated my art. What do you mean? Give me 30 days. Give me 30 days. It is my assignment from God to do this. Watch me. I promise you. The next Villain Challenge starts September. If you sign up for the wait list, you get early access and like 25% off. The wait list opens on the 1st. So you have a couple more days to get on the wait list. The whole challenge is thrilling, and you'll be crying by week 3. I think most people start crying. What matters to you most as an artist, the final product or how it impacted? What matters to you most as an artist, the final product and how it can impact others, or the process? Yes. That's the answer. Yes. How do you sign up? The wait list is in the link in my bio. It says wait list. Join the wait list. That's all you got to do. And then on the first, you better jump in because it'll be cheap. For some of you, I know that like the most expensive it'll be in the month of September is $6.99. When I say it, that's the struggle. I can't. It's impossible for me to describe what the villain challenge is. I'm slaving away right now trying to. But even now, what I'm saying, you're thinking mythology class. You think I'm going to be giving you a motivational speech. You think a challenge. You're going to be abstaining from sugar. I cannot describe what the villain challenge is because there's just too much in it. But I can show you the pages and pages of reviews. I haven't even put them on my website yet, but pages and pages of reviews that say quadruple the price and make it a year-long commitment. And I hope that you can feel in my bones and in my body, I'm not trying to take your money. I'm not trying to sell you anything. That God needs you to take your creativity seriously. Somebody asked a question about it was a good question. Let me go back. With all the technology trying to supersede us as the superior species, how do you see our future? Victorious is how I see it. And artificial intelligence is nothing compared to divine intelligence. And the artificial intelligence knows that. I'm drowning in world building for a book concept I love. Do you have tips or anything for structure? I would need to know a little bit more about the nature of your drowning, so to speak. How do you deal with external expectations, get a real job versus pursuing your dream? I don't. This is what I mean. This is a good question. How do you deal with external expectations versus feeling called to do what your art is? I don't. And it's not because I'm fancy or special or gifted or have loving, supportive parents. Lord knows I do not. When I say, how do you deal with external expectations? I don't. I put my head down and I pray and I ask for support and I strengthen my body and I get the right people around me because what you have to, and not because like, oh yeah, I don't deal with that. Of course I deal with external expectation. Of course I compare myself to people night and day, but you have to develop a process, a relationship with your creativity where at some point you sit down and you listen. You can hear 100,000 people say you need to do this, but the only voice you're listening to is God, to your own source of inspiration. What are you supposed to be doing with your life? What is your purpose? What do you need to be doing? Not what do you want to be doing? Not there's no wrestling. You're locked in. Because I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 38. When I'm 25, yeah, you can kind of be a little confused. But I'm closer to being an elder than I am to being a child at this point in my life. Closer to being an elder than I am to being a child. I must lock in because now there's Generation Alpha little babies who in 20 years are going to be asking me for advice. I need to create a world for them, a body of work that has the answers, the codes. Thinking about your motherfucking self is not it. What's going to happen in 20 years when some kid asks you for advice and the only thing you can say is like, well, sorry, I've been thinking about myself and I've just been worried about what hurt me. Your creativity has solutions about how to be useful to the species. With love in my heart, Jazz, this is another silly question. I say this with love. Jazz is one of my day ones on YouTube. I can say that with confidence, so I'm going to go a little hard in the paint. Does helping another person always require an artist to strive for popularity? You know good and goddamn well that's not true. You know that relationship is not there. You know that with love in my heart. Have I been too mean? Jonathan says the villain challenge will break you in a good way. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You know I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm saying, Jet, come on. Is it necessary for an artist to strive for popularity? You know that striving for popularity is the disease in the first place. You know that. That's not your question. Why don't you instead, because you know damn well the answer to that question, why don't you just make a declaration? You know what? Here's what I believe. Here's what I'm sick of. I'm sick of all of us pursuing popularity. Enough is enough. And tell us why. Because you know the answer. How does the artist navigate a society that doesn't support them? And there's another question that for me that feels like the same answer. But before I move on, do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand my tone when I say this? If don't ask me, ask. I'm an Aquarius, so I can say this. No other sign can say this. An Aquarius can say, "Ask me another dumbass question." I can say that because I'm an alien, and I don't think you're dumb. And I'm grateful for your question. All questions are welcome. But the question is, do you think an artist needs to pursue popularity? You know damn well the answer. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is why somebody said I sound angry. Yeah, correct. I'm angry. You're right. Caught. You got me. Yes. Do this is what I'm sick of watching an entire generation. No offense, Jazz. Jazz is one of my day ones on YouTube. But I'm tired of watching my generation just deal with these nonsense questions just because the self-help industrial complex has put it out there for them. You know the answer. And how do you know the answer? Because you are unconditionally loved and held and supported by God constantly, even if you don't believe in God. That's what's going on. Your art needs you to realize that and climb up and up the ladder of dignity to be like, hold on, sorry, I forgot who the fuck I was. I am part of the species that God gave the capacity to create. My fault. So there's another question. There's two questions. How does the artist navigate society that doesn't support them? And the other question, how would you say overcome the imprints of feeling like I'm outside of the human experience and invalidated and less than? The answers, I think that for me in my brain, those questions are the same. And the answer is the same for both. Well, so let's take one and pretend I'm answering for both. How does the artist navigate society that doesn't support them? You don't navigate society. You don't navigate it. You tap into, I would ask you, if you struggle to navigate your creative process, do you also struggle to navigate within your spiritual process? Do you have a spiritual process that supports adequately your creative endeavors? If your spirituality is to the level of meditating for 5 minutes a day and doing nonsense visualizations for your chakras, not that the chakras are fake and not that that work is truly in its essence nonsense, but what I'm asking you to survey, is that enough? Or do you need to bend your spirituality to get you somewhere? Do you need to achieve something? Are you being invited through the futility that you're experiencing with perhaps the difficulty of navigating society? Is that an invitation to change? Why navigate something that doesn't work? I answered another way. If you ask me, how do I navigate a society that does not manage how do I navigate society that does not support creativity? One, I cannot gaslight myself, man. There are people coming to get you within capitalism, within spiritual warfare. It's not your fault that this creative stuff is hard. Anything that I'm getting angry at you all about, I don't blame you for it. It's not your fault that you have such dumb opinions. I say, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry. But something that has changed my life, that life is hard. I have encountered insurmountable heartache and grief in this lifetime. What gets me through that? Man, the only thing that fucking can. God. And I'm super de-duper sorry. That's the answer. God and community. and an encounter with a stranger and the encounter with souls who have gone through the journey before you. Yeah, I know what you're going through. You need to be around people who are awake. I don't think AI art is necessarily destructive. I think that human beings using AI to microdose, to synthesize, to recreate in a synthetic way human experiences, human emotion. I think that's the danger. I think it's a Faustian trait, trying to have human encounters. I believe that I think people use AI art for reasons, but I think that it creates shortcuts. There are things, human beings are forged within friction. Human beings are forged within friction, difficulty, failure, heartbreak. You trying to learn something, but you're about 5 years away from developing the skill you need to learn. The issue with AI is that it lubricates you out away from necessary friction. So that's my issue with AI among many. Anyway, I'm going to be doing this protocol I talked about in the first half. I'm going to be doing this starting August 1st for 30 days. And then I'm going to be teaching it starting September 1st. Please follow along to any one or both. But I need to go. Thank you very much. This was very good. Please like, follow, share, engage. I am dependent on the algorithms. Thank you very much for being here. May the force be with you and the odds ever in your favor.